this chamber, Committee Report 119, sponsoring herewith Senate Resolution 790 entitled Resolution Concurring in the Ratification of the Agreement between the Government of the Republic of the Philippines and the Government of His Majesty the Sultan and Yang Dipertuan of Brunei Darussalam for the avoidance of double taxation and the prevention of fiscal evasion with respect to taxes on income. The Philippines and Brunei Darussalam have enjoyed decades of close relations because of historic people-to-people exchanges, geographic proximity, and a shared commitment to a peaceful and prosperous region. Political, economic, and socio-cultural ties between the two countries have continued to expand in recent years. In 2022, the total bilateral trade between the Philippines and Brunei amounted to USD 607.40 million US dollars. Based on 2023 estimates, there are now 22,932 Filipinos living and working in Brunei Darussalam. Several Philippine companies such as Jollibee and LBC, among others, have already set up operations profitably in Brunei. In an effort to enhance our multifaceted and close relations with Brunei, we herewith seek the Philippine-Brunei Darussalam Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement Ratification. Lagi po kasi nating naririnig ito mula sa panig ng ating mga overseas Filipino workers. Nag-abroad kami para magkapera. Nagkasahod para maipadala sa aming pamilya. Nung umuwi, nga, resibo na lang pala ang matitira. Itigil na natin ang kabiguan ng pangarap ng ating mga kababayan at pahintulutan na sa lalong madaling panahon na maratifika ang batas na ito. Huwag na nating hayaan na tuloy-tuloy ang doble-dobleng pagbubuwis at iba pang pagbabawas ang gawin sa sweldo sa pinaghihirapan ng ating mga kababayang nagtatrabaho sa kaharian ng Brunei. Under the Philippine-Brunei Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement, business profits will be taxed only in the state where the company is doing business unless that company has a permanent establishment in the other state. Independent personal services, such as professional services by lawyers, engineers, architects, dentists, and accountants, shall be taxed only in the worker's state of residence, provided he does not stay for an aggregate period of over 183 days in any 12-month period. Otherwise, professors, teachers, and researchers who teach or research upon the invitation of any educational institution in the other contracting state shall be exempt from that state's income tax. Likewise, cross-border remittances for students or the trainees' maintenance, education, study, or training shall be exempt from tax, as well as on the grants, allowances, and awards given to them abroad. As with all the other 43 double taxation avoidance agreements that we have previously entered into, the Filipino-Brunei taxation arrangement allocates taxing jurisdiction between the two contracting states, clearly eliminating or mitigating double taxation of income. On one hand, the Philippines shall allow a tax credit, any tax payable in Brunei Darussalam on income or profits, and in turn, Brunei shall credit taxes paid in the Philippines on income or profits derived from our country. To protect citizens of both countries, the double taxation agreement has a non-discrimination provision to ensure that taxpayers are not subjected to unfair treatment or denied benefits solely on the basis of their nationality or residence. In addition, the DTAA mandates the extension of information between the contracting parties to help prevent tax evasion. The concurrence by the Senate will thus alleviate the tax burden on both our Filipino workers and Filipino corporations and partnerships. It will encourage cross-border trade and investment between the two countries and provide clarity and certainty in the manner by which each state will treat and levy income taxes, enabling businesses and investors from both nations to finance and develop their businesses. Equally important, the double taxation avoidance will foster people-to-people exchanges between professionals, academics, students, businessmen, and workers, encouraging close personal ties between two good neighbors. Finally, the Senate's positive action on this matter will strengthen the Philippines' commitment in the ASEAN Forum on Taxation to complete a network of double taxation agreements among ASEAN member states. Panahon nang baguhin ang kalunos-lunos na kasabihan ng ating mga kababayan at bigkasin isang bagong salawikain. Nag-abroad ako para magkapera, nagkasahod at ipinadala sa aking pamilya. Nung umuwi, konti lang ang binawas at marami pang natira. Sa ikauunlad ng bawat pamilyang Pilipino na nasa kaharian ng Brunei, ipasa na po natin ang SRN 790. Sa lahat ng nabanggit na dahilan, hinihiling ko ang inyong pagsang-ayon sa kasunduan ng pagitan ng pamahalaan ng Republika ng Pilipinas at pamahalaan ng mahal na sultan at Yang Dipertuan ng Brunei Darussalam para maiwasan ang dobleng pagbubuwis at ang pag-iwas sa mga dapat bayarang buwis mula sa kita. Gawin na natin masaya at maunlad ang Paskong parating para sa ating mga kababayan. Iratifika na natin ngayon ang Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement na ito. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat, mahal na Pangulo at mga kasamahan.
We congratulate our sponsor for her hard work and for her, again, brilliant sponsorship speech, Mr. President. May bago na tayong kasabihan na, na kinumpose ng ating sponsor. At narinig ko rin po yung panawagan ng ating sponsor na kung pwedeng pamasko na natin ito sa ating mga citizens, sa ating mga kababayan nandun po sa Kingdom of Brunei. At posible naman gawin ito upon the advice of the majority leader. I think we can do this, and there are precedents that we have done this as far as treaties are concerned, Mr. President. So the minority will interpose no objection should we decide to implement a fast-track procedure for the approval of this treaty, Mr. President, for today. Ang pakiusap lang po ng aking opisina po sa opisina po ng ating sponsor if we can be provided with some details on how such a treaty is operationalized, Mr. President. Parang in effect the mechanics of how we implement this treaty on the avoidance of double taxation. Because this is not the first time. Marami-rami na rin po tayong treaties na ganyan. So, just for the record, Mr. President, so that my office, the Office of the Minority Leader, will have a formal record from the sponsor on how it is operationalized. Just a request, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and certainly we will provide at the earliest possible opportunity the mechanics requested by the good minority leader. At higit sa lahat, maraming salamat sa pamaskong handog mula sa ating minority leader at maipapasa na po ito.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
And we're hoping this can be extended, Minority Leader, to the second treaty that needs to be ratified.
Yes, Mr. President. This is very important, Mr. President. What we are tackling about, Mr. President, is something that our OFWs in Brunei had been complaining about, Mr. President, and I have had several discussions with them. And so again, we thank the Minority Leader, our good sponsor. Mr. President, our Senate President Pro Temp is also seeking the floor. I move that she be recognized before we move for the proper motion. So
Our
move, Mr.
distinguished
President.
colleague and Senate President Pro Tempore, Senator Lauren Legarda is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to thank the Chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee for giving priority to the sponsorship of the concurrence in the ratification of these very important treaties and conventions. I recall long ago there have been many treaties on double taxation which were already passed, including the various chairs of the Foreign Relations Committee, including myself perhaps 10 years ago. But despite our hard work as chair of the committee, we know that there are many pending treaties that still need to be ratified, but they have to be, of course, transferred or transmitted to the Senate first. At the same time, we urge the Executive Department, the Department of Foreign Affairs in particular, to negotiate with all the pending countries where the negotiations are not yet consummated. So may I first congratulate the chair, Senator Marcos. Second, perhaps to ask her if she knows and has the information now, how many more countries where there are working Filipinos, including overseas Filipino workers and professionals, that need to be negotiated by the DFA so that double taxation will not happen at yung pinaghihirapan nga nila para iuwi sa kanilang pamilya ay hindi na dobleng mapupunta sa estado at hindi na sila mahihirapan. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, and we're grateful for the support deriving from our Senate President pro tempore, and certainly the list remains long, as Filipinos are found in almost every corner of the globe, but perhaps we should prioritize those countries, particularly in Europe and in the Americas, where there's a great percentage of Filipino migrant workers.
Yes.
We will provide the list as soon as possible.
Thank you very much, and let it be on record that the Senate Committee Chair on Foreign Relations and this representation would urge the DFA to prioritize all these countries, and if you could complete it by next year, by the first quarter, then we would be happy to concur in its ratification. Thank you once again to our Senate Committee Chair, Senator Marcos, and congratulations, isang pamasko ng Senado sa mga overseas Filipino workers. Salamat po.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. With that, I move to open the period of interpellations and debate. So move, Mr. President.
There being no objection, motion